Good afternoon. Welcome to the March 27th, 2023 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. We call this meeting to order. Mr. Rodriguez, do we have a quorum?
Yes.
And were the minutes posted in accordance with the Nevada revised statutes?
Yes.
Thank you. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a time for public comment. During this portion of the agenda, items must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. Anybody wishing to speak has 5 minutes to do so. Seeing no one in the audience for public comment, do we have anyone on the phone for public comment?
No.
And is there any written public comment?
No written public comments.
Okay, we'll give an opportunity for folks to call in if they'd like to. That number is 702-589-9629. Again, that number for public comment is 702-589-9629. This is the public comment period for the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. You may make comment by calling 702-589-9629. Okay, we'll close public comment at this time. Action or item number 1 on our agenda is the approval of the minutes for the January 23rd, 2023 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Can I ask a question first about that?
Miss-
Turn my microphone
Ms.
on.
McNay, go ahead.
Yeah, because as a person who listens to the citizens and tells them I'm going to come to report issues that they had in the meeting, in the last minutes I looked for it, and I had mentioned that one of my citizens, neighbors, was concerned about the equipment, was wanting safer, like a video equipment or something installed for safety in the adjoining building where the old equipment from the ABC Fitness Center went in. And I reported that, and I usually just show it to them that I said it, and it wasn't in the minutes. So I just want to question about how to deal with it, because I would give them the minutes to say, here, nothing might have happened, but here, I reported it.
So what we can do is we can go back and look. To my recollection, that was 2 meetings ago.
Was it 2 meetings
I
ago?
believe it was.
Okay.
But we can go, so you can approve them as potentially amended if that was left out. But to my recollection, it was 2 meetings ago.
So that would have been in November? I don't think so.
2 meetings,
When
correct.
did the equipment get changed in there?
Well, I was there for it. I wasn't at last meeting.
Oh, okay, so it was the previous meeting.
It was the
Okay.
previous meeting.
Sorry to mess that up, but I just wanted to, I
Oh.
looked for on this one, looking to give it to her and show her that I had said them, and they couldn't find it, so go back to the November meeting? Okay. Okay, go ahead with the motion.
Okay, would you like to make that motion?
Sure, I move that we approve the minutes for the January 23rd, 2023 meeting.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I
Any opposed? And minutes are approved. Item number 2 is items pertaining to the Muni Golf Course and the Boulder Creek Golf Course. Any discussion on those operational reports? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve those operational reports?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Those reports are approved, and we have a verbal report from Director Hall on those golf courses.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maintenance work continues on the municipal golf course in preparation for spring. Workers got aggressive in trimming lots of low-hanging branches that impact golf carts and mowers on the course. If you go by the maintenance building, it's piled up in the back, and we're getting rid of the branches and stuff. Workers are busy edging the bunkers, filling in the potholes by the cart paths, weed eating and pruning weeds, and they actually put out new bunker rakes last month. Replacing lots of old irrigation valves and sprinklers, and they started spraying foliar fertilizer, say that real fast, to promote green up of the Bermuda grass in the fairways. You know, the cold weather has kind of stymied that right now, but hopefully as the weather gets warmer, the Bermuda grass will start coming up a little bit better. And the first application of pre-emergent for broadleaf weeds has been applied, and we'll put the second application will go down in early April. On the Boulder Creek side, workers have been busy. Superintendent Byron Hines did a test study of 3 different types of sand that we're going to be using for the greenside bunkers, and found the right one. Out of the 3, 2 with the terrible winds that we've had, 2 the fines blew away, and it was the bunkers that had this 2 other sand in didn't do a very good job, but one held its own. And we're going to be using that as the greens for the greenside bunkers in a project that is coming up in the very near future. Also spraying fertilizer to promote Bermuda grass in the fairways. Cool conditions are hampering the Bermuda green up. They're also, again, it's that time of year to put the pre-emergent down, and the second application will go down in April. Cattail removal on Desert Hawk 1 Lake has been started and will continue. If you walk out of the clubhouse and take a look at the first lake in front, they removed all the cattails from that. It looks great. Those cattails grow really bad, and once they get established, it's really hard to get them out of there. We have a bunch of tournaments scheduled, and getting ready for them is a chore, and they're doing a great job. You know, I wanted to let all of you know that Director of Golf Andy Shaper and his able staff are doing a fantastic job at both golf courses. The success of both courses can be directly attributed to Andy and his staff for his outstanding customer service. Superintendent Byron Hines and Matt Atkin of Turf Tech can also be commended for a job well done because they maintain both golf courses. The courses are in great shape, which shows the increase of rounds of golf and revenue to the city of Boulder City. I'd be happy to answer any questions. That's the end of my report.
Hey, Roger, what's the status of the removal of the turf?
Well, right now we're working with SNWA. Right now they've approved at the Munich course they gave us an anticipated check of over $1 million when we start removing. We're in the current process of hiring a design architect to take a look at how much grass we need to remove to fall within the SNWA guidelines for water consumption on a golf course. That is in the process right now. We're very close to appointing a consultant to do that. And as soon as that consultant, he'd get to work on it and work with staff and get that done. So it's coming down the pike real quick here.
Any other questions? Ms. McDay?
Yes, this is, I don't know about golfing much. What does the surcharge account information refer to?
Well, basically, when we play golf, at Muni, we started a long time ago, over 30 years ago. A surcharge account is any improvement to the golf course that, and we take a portion of the money that a golfer pays and put it in a separate account that can be used for golf course improvements. And so basically, we started that at the creek about 2 years ago, and we should have done that a little sooner, but we're getting some pretty good money. And for example, if we buy mowers, buy big greens mowers, a greens mower can cost $50,000-$60,000. This kind of fund would help purchase greens mowers. We used it to purchased a new fleet of golf carts for both courses. It really comes in handy for the improvement of both golf courses.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on to item number 3 is pertaining to the Aquatic Division of the Parks and Recreation Department. Any discussion on those reports? And if none, do I have a motion to approve those reports?
I move to approve.
Second?
We have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Reports are approved. Now we have a verbal report from Aquatic Coordinator Cherie Brennan.
Good afternoon. Were the pictures of the replaster project part of the packet?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. All right, very good. I'll get to those momentarily. So let me start with, we are still learning, as Julie has reported a couple of times, on our rec desk registration system. But the cashiers are continuing to learn to operate within that. I'm continuing to learn to operate within that. And I'm thankful to our patrons for being patient with us. We recently completed a lifeguard class with 5 students, 4 of whom have interviews this week. So that's exciting news. Classes, we were able to offer Water Babies, Preschool 1, and Learn to Swim class in March. We hope to in April as well, and add a level 3 Learn to Swim class. As always, the water aerobics and pre-swim stay steady and fairly full. We had our Easter egg pool plunge on Saturday. We had 19 youth, I can't say little ones, most of them were bigger ones this year, jump in and collect their treasures, and had a good time. Sierra did a good job putting that together, and I will have pictures for that in our next, for the next report. So now, if you care to look at the pictures of the plaster project, we had the wading pool and the dive tank done so far, and it's looking nice, and we have far less water loss than we did prior to that. The only thing left to do with those 2 pools is have the depth marker tiles put in. Those have been, it's one of those supply chain issues apparently. So once the company receives those, they'll come out and put those in. We'll have to drop the water level down so that they can do that. And then as far as the main pool, that's on the schedule. Dates to be determined, but sometime late summer, early fall. Make that happen at the same time that we do Bubble Up. And other facility news, we've had all the emergency lights throughout the facility replaced, with the exception of in the racquetball courts. They require a different type, and so an outside contractor is being brought in to do that work. And that is the end of my report.
Any reports or a quick question, correction. Any questions for Ms. Brennan?
Sure, I always have questions. Am I okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was trying to look at, the pictures are great to show us about, what does it say on the very bottom picture that it's got double, and when it shows
I think it just says filled with water.
with water.
and
That's all it says, filled with water?
Yeah,
or
so I
something
was
else?
showing where they did the chip out and what that looked like, and then once it was replastered, and then when we
Filled
had
with-
water back in.
Okay, I can't figure out these things.
I'll choose a different font next time.
And then I remember what happened, the pool was closed for, March 6th or something for repairs? What was?
We had an unexpected need for a backwash that we can't do when we have patrons in the water. We have to shut down the circulation. And typically, we can kind of track that by the gauges, and you see the pressure drop and the suction drop and so forth. But the gauges gave us no indication. But we had a lot of air in the lines, and that's another indication, but that happened over the weekend. So, unfortunately, we had to just make a decision right then to close and get that done that morning.
Ooh. Yeah, when are we going to get our new pool? That's the question I get all the time from everyone in the community.
I will defer to Mr. Hall.
We all voted for it. Oh, and then what was the other thing? Today when I was swimming there, it wasn't raining outside, but it was raining. It felt like it was raining in the pool because is that from the leaks from the bubble?
What I understand is that the air was cool this morning. So I'm not sure if there's an issue with the heater element in the blower. Our HVAC person is on vacation this week. I've spoken with our building maintenance person, and if it continues, we can bring out a contractor.
We just wondered what was going on. It's
Yeah.
raining in here? What's going on? And it was real fun. And then the other swimmers were saying that it was real hazy or something in there.
First thing in the morning when they took the covers off, the
that always
steam
that way?
rises. No, it doesn't always happen. It's when the air is much cooler than the water.
Okay, well,
So the steam will come up off of the water.
I guess I was going to, of all the classes, I was wondering, I know the swim team is back training, right? The
We have
Boulder
high
City
school swim team
And there's
started.
the Boulder City, what is it? What are they called? The Boulder City, the group from Henderson.
The heat wave, they're
Heat wave.
taking a hiatus at this point. I guess that's the best way I can put that.
So they're not,
They're not currently practicing at our facility.
because they used to pay and they used to be there a time and all that, but they're not. But they're going somewhere else, or?
That I'm unsure of. I could defer. Okay, we don't know at this point.
Okay, because I know that was one of the income things that you would have that would be
Correct.
coming in. And I thought, I just started seeing the Boulder City High School team coming in, but I wondered about the, okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to item number 4, items pertaining to the Recreation Division. And so do we have any discussion on these operational reports? Okay, how about approval of these operational reports? Do I have a motion for that?
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Reports are approved, and we'll start off with a verbal report from Program Coordinator Jennifer Spinkling.
Good afternoon. And I realized that our latest brochure came out at the beginning of the month, and I'm sorry that I did not bring a copy. I feel like Val's got it. I feel like it's been out for a couple months, so it doesn't feel so new to me, so I apologize.
pass them out
But
to everybody.
Val could pass it around. I love the front cover myself. Those are Tiny Tots in the afternoon class. They're little cuties. Show some of the fun they have in there. And with our Tiny Tots, we have 2 months left, and then we'll have a graduating class of 19 children that'll be ready for kindergarten next year. And that graduation is on May 17th. And then for our classes, we started a Tiny Tot Yoga Mondays in February, and it is full all the way through May. So the instructor has agreed to do a second class on Wednesdays, and that already has registrants, and we just opened it today. So, and then I've also spoken to a gentleman about a ballroom dancing class, so I'm hoping that'll be coming soon. And then the horseback riding is continuing to be one of our biggest classes with the new instructor Megan, and then Scott Pastore from the police department also volunteers with that and helps when Megan can't make the class. We have 2 new volunteers with special interest classes. Melanie Mahoney is going to be a sub for Lynn St. Pierre for her line dance class. And then Kathy Coffey is going to do the same thing for Pilates. Lynn has I don't know if I'd call it a dream, but she would love to take a month off in the summer. And if you don't continue your classes, attendance drops off, people find other things to do. So this is kind of her way to hope to keep her classes going while she takes a month off. She's retired from State Farm?
Yep.
Okay, I'm like, don't want to get that wrong. And so, you know, she would love to go visit her grandkids in the summer for a month. So she's kind of been working on that. Our Safe Key, our staff is great and we're fully staffed. We just hope to get more kiddos, hoping that this summer brings a whole new wave of kids and that we're prepared now. So the ABC Park construction, I don't know if any of you have experienced it or noticed it. If you've been to the fitness center, I'm sure you have. But the construction crew, I've gotten nothing but actual compliments because they've been very helpful to our patrons when they have a rough time finding the place or finding the route that they should take. They've also carried Art Center people's materials into the facility for them and just above and beyond probably what a normal construction crew would do. So the pave date had been moved to April, middle of April, but unfortunately, due to some landscaping and irrigation issues, they've pushed it back again to May 9th. They've got most of the sidewalks, or about half of them, paved or concrete poured. They're going to work on the Art Center and I think that's the main one, and then just some outline areas of the concrete poured. So we're looking forward to that getting completed. Last bit I have is our special event. We're having our first ever Boulder City Parks and Recreation Easter egg hunt this Saturday. It's for 1 to 7-year-olds, and it'll be at Wilbur Square at 10 a.m. Any questions?
Of course.
Val?
Of course, surprise, surprise. You know, the sewer work and at the ABC Park and also they're getting Lindahan going there and stuff. I mean, all the signs are up there explaining, but I know I have a lot of my friends that are my age, you know, they're 80s and 90s, and they've been struggling to get in there and worried about the parking situation when the way the pavement's going in. You know, a lot of sidewalks going in, it
Yes.
sounds like. I mean,
And they're more ADA compliant, more ramps and things like that that weren't there previously.
are going to be in there now?
Yes, on the sidewalks and stuff, yes.
So it's just when were you saying that?
The pavement is going in May 9th, the week of May 9th, barring any other complications or additional work that needs to be done. Lend a Hand is a totally separate project. And I know initially that was supposed to be done by July 31st, but I'd have to say I can't imagine that, but maybe.
Okay, so, I mean, they love, I guess, that all the concrete sidewalks are going in there, but I thought they're going to have to put a sign that says no parking, because it's like the sidewalk's taking up all the place that used to be for parking or something?
No, I
Is what they're
believe
saying?
they've added some over by the ABC gym on the wall there. I believe there's a little more, and then the whole lot between the gym and the Lend a Hand is going to be, I believe, paved parking. And then they'll line those for parking.
Because I
and
know
they-
someone with this horrible weather we've been having, rain and wind, they're afraid they're
Yes.
going to fall and stuff like that when they're trying to get there with the construction going on. But I'm sure it's needed to be done and
Yes.
have to do it. So
They
it's-
had to upgrade the sewer system in order for Lend a Hand to be able to operate there. You know, one of the improvements as far as one of the facilities that is used a lot is our Art Center. Before, it's just the direct sidewalk up from the street. Nobody is allowed to park in the street. Therefore, you're parking over on the side or in the dirt lot next to it, and then you're walking in the street up. They did a sidewalk from the fitness center parking lot up to the front of the Art Center, so that's a huge
so it's
help.
gonna be- okay. So assure them they're going to be able to walk there pretty soon
Yes.
without falling.
Yes. The sidewalks will be done, but there still won't be the pavement. The pavement will be in May. And it was, from my understanding, to put some of the landscaping in, they would take equipment over the new pavement, so they need to do that first. Because before, I understood they were going to pave and then add the landscaping afterwards, but they're going to finish the landscaping and then put the pave in.
Okay, I'll spread the word.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you, Jen. Our next report is for Sports Coordinator Jamie Gowdy.
Hello. So for youth sports, we're about halfway through our youth hockey season. We have a couple weeks left of that, and there's 75 participants, which is a huge increase from last year that we've had. This week also on Wednesday and Thursday, we have our assessment clinic for youth baseball and t-ball. So we're hoping to get a lot of turnout for that. And then in adult sports, we're halfway through our co-ed softball and women's volleyball leagues, and there's 6 teams each in that, which is a increase also. And we are also trying for a traveling cornhole league in May. We're going to go to 4 different locations, Boulder City businesses, and have a little cornhole tournament. So we're going to see if that works. But that is the end of my short report.
Thank you. Any questions for Jamie?
Thank you.
Okay, next item number 5, verbal report from Director Hall on a mountain biking and aerial trail system in Bootleg Canyon.
I believe Julie Calloway would like to speak on,
I'm sorry, Julie. You are down there. Verbal report from Manager Julie Calloway on the status of recreation items.
Thank you. I'll be brief. I did provide for you up on the dais the latest special events master list, so you can see what we currently have scheduled as far as large events and weddings for the next 12 months. We do have reservations coming in daily, sometimes several a day. That's been one nice thing about our new registration system is people have found the ease of renting facilities, so it's kept us on our toes and kept us very busy. Regarding the new software, we have had less than a handful of complaints, and anybody who has had issues with it, we've typically been able to talk them through it over the phone or walk them through how to actually register their household. And so we've turned any negative comments into positive feedback immediately, just with a little bit of extra time and help for those individuals. So it's been very good, and we look forward to all of the information that we'll be able to extract from that. Regarding ABC Park, once the infrastructure improvements are completed, we will be working on the outdoor basketball court at that location. It'll be, the concrete will have improvements to any cracks and surfacing, and then we'll also reline it for basketball as well as pickleball for that outdoor location once the infrastructure is done at that location. We're also going to be replacing and looking at our playground, our current playgrounds. A couple of them have some repairs that need to be taken care of, slides that need to be replaced, and so we're looking to just replace the entire fixture on a lot of those parks, specifically Oasis and Hemingway and Veterans Memorial Park. We're going to have some playgrounds that are going to be replaced at those locations, and Broadbent. Some due to age, some due to vandalism, unfortunately, but a lot of the amenities are 15 to 20 years old, so they're in need of being replaced anyway. So we're going to be doing that in the next couple of months, along with the safety surfacing, the pour in place, the solid safety surfacing that's at Hemingway, Bicentennial, and Veterans Park. We'll be doing a repair of those 3 locations as well. We do still have staffing issues within Parks and Recreation, and with our summer quickly approaching, next Monday we will be doing a pop-up job fair pizza party at the Parks and Rec office, just from 5 to 6:30, trying to create some interest and maybe bring some folks out that want to learn more about anything from being a water safety instructor to a lifeguard or Tiny Tots aide, pool cashier, Safe Key. So we're really kind of putting it out there that we're hiring and we have flexible hours, and come see the different opportunities. We're also covering the cost on some of those positions that do require certification, like a water safety instructor, which you do not have to be a lifeguard to be that. The water safety instructor would be more like the instructor for a learn to swim class or a baby mom taught swim class. That is a different certification, but we're actually going to be providing some of those certifications to be able to capture some more people that might be able to work at the pool. So get the word out. The first flyer was posted on social media today, and while we know there's not going to be one place and time that's going to work for everybody, at least it gets the word out and maybe grabs the attention of some people to go to the website and see what offerings we have. So that'll take place next Monday. We are continuing through the budget process, and that should finish up in the end of May. We don't have any huge increases. We also don't have any huge decreases that are coming up. So status quo is good for us. So any questions?
Sure.
Ms. McVeigh, go ahead.
I just had someone asking me this morning, I think it was the slide over at Broadbent Park. They said that was all closed up, and I said, I knew that was listed in last month's minutes. And so what do I tell them? I don't know. It's a parent of kids.
So it is closed so that they cannot use the slide itself. The other amenities are still fine, but we're going to go ahead and replace the whole fixture. So it's kind of like a big-ish piece of playground equipment that might have a little, the stairs and the climber, and then a slide is just a part of it. The whole thing will end up being replaced.
Oh, okay. I told her I thought that was what was going on there. And then I keep getting people, everyone's saying how wonderful the office is. They keep telling how Jennifer walks them through the sign-in for the online thing, step by step to get him on there. For those people, are seniors and aren't really good with whatever. But I'm wondering, I guess the other wonder was if you can still pay as you go, though? Can you pay cash at the classes and stuff like that? Is that still allowed?
So you can't pay, you can pay cash in our facility.
Okay.
You can pay cash at the pool. So any place that has those security the security measures in place, where we have a cash register, we have a vault to put in at the end of the night, et cetera, you can still pay cash at any of those. Other than that, you can pay with a credit card online at your convenience at any time of the day or night. But as far as other places to take cash, like the fitness center or any place else, no, because they don't have those security measures.
Okay, so Department of Water and Power, I go to all the classes there for Pilates and for line dancing and stuff, and a lot of the people, they don't want to pay by the month because can't go every day. They just can go when they want, when they're able.
Correct. And so there's two things they can do. They can come into our office and pay at any time they want to, as far as that goes. They can call us.
Or they go to class, or when
Yeah,
they're
right
done.
before they go to class, yeah, because their classes are in, other than Fridays, they're during our time. One of the nice things that we've done when we have had those few people that have the issue with not being able to pay for Pilates as you go, we've let them know that it's actually cheaper if you pay by the month. Even if you were to miss one class, it's still cheaper than paying the individual drop-in rate, which with that, they've been delighted and been happy to pay for a month at a time, and it's seemed to be a win-win.
Because I know they just want to be, because I'm thinking over, at the Department of Water and Power, which also didn't have power last week. Remember, he had to put him up here in the dance studio, and hope emergency aid was okay. But yeah, there's a lot of them were just hoping that they could pay there still, because Lynn was bringing it over here, so we didn't have to do it ourselves, but she'll be gone.
Right, well, right, and it wasn't in the best interest of our employees to be taking cash when there wasn't those security safeguards. So for the, safety of our employees, it's going to be at a secure facility or online, which is even better.
Well, I guess being online is good when you're not working on Friday and people want to do something on Friday, they can do it online, right? And pay, so
Yep.
that has benefits. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I got a couple of questions for you. Follow up on that pay issue. Is it possible then for those locations, like say ABC Gym, that they could take a credit card and swipe it or something like that for those Friday afternoons or Fridays when?
Well, so if you had the credit card, those people could do it.
Well, the same demographics might apply where they're not really.
For a drop-in?
Yeah. Or if you don't have access to a computer, then where can you get that done on a Friday?
So right now you can't. If you don't have access to a computer, we don't have anybody to take your information over
Because
the
I know
phone.
in the past that you could pay in person at ABC.
So at the fitness center, that has not been the case for 2 years. There's been no cash handling at that facility. So as far as the new system, it hasn't changed for the weight room at all.
Okay. If we got a way for people to pay at the point where they're doing the thing they want to do, I think that'd be fantastic. Whether it's at the Water and Power Building, or it's ABC, or the pool, or wherever it is that they're.
Well, and we can check in, I mean, we may be able to do it at we'll look into it, because we
Okay.
may be able to do it at the fitness center. We don't have the staffing to do it at the Department of Water, unless we're going to have a full-time staff person there to do
Okay.
that.
And then the other question I had on your staffing, your job fairs, and you talk about having a staffing shortage. Is there any effort underway to improve pay that might be relative to that staffing shortage?
Absolutely. We have taken forward to the finance department, and city council has been made aware as well of what our comparables are with the valley for our different positions, everything from lifeguard to safe key and on up. And it is currently on the budget for next year to have the part-time salaries increased, specifically to be able to facilitate those positions and for retention and for overall quality of employees. So yes,
Good,
it's being looked
good.
at and been towards in front of city council, and should be, I'm hoping,
When they
and
approve it in May, yeah.
with the new budget.
Okay. And then my last point is on the special events master list. Is that posted anywhere, or is it possible for those public events or events that take place in a more public place, like if you're renting out an entire park or something like that, can those be posted somewhere, even on a calendar? Does the city have a calendar of events?
Actually, you can look on the customer portal with our new website, our new software program, and you can see everything that's going on
Okay.
in every facility.
Great.
It's overwhelming when you look at like a Tuesday afternoon and you see that there's 35 different things going on.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, now we'll move to item number 5, verbal report from Director Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the cooler weather, spring weather, events at Bootleg Canyon have increased. The Blood, Sweat, and Beers event this past weekend was a great success, and more large events are to follow. It'll shut down in the summertime due to the heat, but it'll pick right back up in the fall again. And you can see that in the master special event list that Julie just passed out. Regarding the aerial trails, I think we've found a company that will come out and inspect the trail equipment to make sure it's safe. And I think after that is done, staff is contemplating on putting the operation of the aerial trails out to bid and seeing what is out there. And I'll keep you posted on when that occurs. But that's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Director Hall?
What year did they stop the aerial trail? Do you remember? Was it pre-COVID?
Yeah, it was in 2019. They were, you could hear the nails screeching on the blackboard because a lot of companies in Las Vegas built aerial trails.
Yeah.
We were the only one for many years out here. We're the only one in Southern Nevada, but they put the one at downtown. There's probably 3 or 4 of them downtown now,
Yeah.
which takes a lot of business away from the one up here. But the COVID really, kicked it into gear, and they had to fold. I think it was 2019.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the Bootleg Canyon Park is so beautiful out there, and with all the statues. And I can't believe how many people in town don't even know that it's there or exists. And think, how can we let them know that that is such an awesome park that you can walk or bike or whatever, and with all the statues and gardening stuff and all that. It is so awesome, and no one knows it's there.
I would say the majority of people don't know it's there. That's true. If you have kids, you probably will, because they love to see the big animals. Maybe Jennifer can put something in the brochure. I'll take some pictures of the statues, and we can get the word out that way.
Because it really is awesome, and I just can't believe how many people I've had to take that have never been there before and didn't know it existed or anything. Like, oh God, we got to advertise that.
The Boulder City Magazine more than once.
Oh, it has been?
in spring,
I'll add Wow.
something about it.
Oh, and then this. And this might be off topic. I don't know if I can just bring this up now about the pickleball stuff that people.
In our very next item, you can bring
Okay.
that up. Any other questions for Director Hall regarding Bootleg Canyon? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to our final item, which is item number 6, and that's Parks and Recreation Commission reports. We'll start with Mr. Robbins. Do you have any reports? No, sir. Mr. Woodbury? No reports. I do not. Ms. Morgan?
No, sir.
Ms. McVeigh, you're on.
Well, I'll pass this around. I was showing this, the commissioners up here. This is at the gym, at Parks and Rec, and like, all the paddles here are lined up waiting for a turn to go. And there must have been that day, I don't know, it was lined up forever, and people just standing around waiting for their turn for them to be open. And I thought, and then I talked to some of the custodians around, and because it's such a popular, Mary Hinson's class is there, and that, on the days we're playing pickleball, and that's such a great class. And a lot of people, the parking issues, because they need ADA kind of accessible parking, and so they're always saying, oh, there must be some, other facilities that, not just that are simple, not a big, wonderful gym like that is. I mean, that's a beautiful gym to come, which I think that's why all the people from Henderson come. So I'm often wondering, should we try and get rid of the Henderson people? No, we like to play, they're good people, and we like to play with them, but, they take and the Boulder Creek Golf Course money, right? That's subsidizing that. And they're probably not customers because they don't live in Boulder City. But anyway, so I just thought that because the people just be talking about it's so popular, and it's continuing to get more and more popular. And the weather's been so awful that you really can't play outside. The wiffle ball would be gone, and you'd be gone anyway. So I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
I would like to address that the city of Henderson allows our residents to use their facilities, and likewise, the Henderson residents are welcome to use our facilities as well.
They're good players.
Anyone else? Hearing nothing, we'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you. Oh, what'd I do? I'm sorry. All right. Before we adjourn, this is an opportunity for public comment. Comments can be made on any item. Have anyone for public comment on the phone?
No,
Any written comment?
no written comments.
And no one in the audience. Will give a few minutes for people to call in if they'd like to. That number is 702-589-9629 for public comment for the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Again, that number is 702-589-9629. Again, this is the public comment opportunity and period for the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. That number to call in for comment is 702-589-9629. Okay, it appears we have no public comment, and with that, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.